Today I'm going to show how to change the oil in a 2022 or newer Hyundai Elantra N. Hyundai recommends Quaker State 0W30. After researching all the available oils, I chose to use Pennzoil Ultra Platinum 5W30 oil. I live in a warmer area with very mild winters, so a 5W oil will work fine. If you live in an area with colder climate, you may want to stay with the 0W oil. Other oils that constantly show up as the best oils to use were Motul, Castrol Edge, Pennzoil, and Liquid Moly. If your car has been tuned, you may want to consider 5W40 for added heat protection. Let me know in the comments what oil you use in your car. As for the oil filter, I chose to use a Hyundai oil filter part number 26300-35504. Another good option would be the Wix 51334XP heavy-duty oil filter. Finally, for the drain plug, I purchased a magnetic plug from N75. The plug is reusable and comes with 3 crush washers. The plug comes in different colors, which is nice, but I don't know why since no one will see it. I chose the titanium color, which is a nice blue color. I will have a link in the video description to all the items used in this video. First, start the car and let it warm up for about 5 minutes just to get the oil warm. This will help the oil flow out of the oil pan easier. While the car is warming up, go ahead and raise the car. I used low-profile ramps my father-in-law made. I will have a link to similar ramps that can be purchased on Amazon in the video description. To get a bit more height, I placed my low-profile jack under the car and positioned it directly behind the lower engine mount. This puts the jack on the middle of the subframe and allows you to raise the car from the front. I didn't raise the vehicle to where the wheels came off the ramps. This gave me plenty of room to work under the car. After the car has been raised, shut the car off and allow it to cool for about 5 to 10 minutes. The splash shield partially covers the oil filter but doesn't cover the oil pan. This allows you to change the oil without having to remove the splash shield. For my own peace of mind, I chose to remove the splash shield to avoid getting oil inside the splash shield. I felt this would make for a cleaner process. The splash shield is easy to remove. It's held into place by 4 10mm bolts and several plastic clips. If you choose to remove the shield, you'll need a plastic trim tool and a 10mm socket. After I removed the splash shield, it was easy to see the blue oil filter located behind the engine's fan. The oil pan can be found directly behind the oil filter. The drain plug is located at the rear of the oil pan beside the intercooler's hot pipe. Open the car's hood, unscrew the oil cap, and pull the dipstick up. This will help allow the oil to flow freely. Move under the car and remove the drain plug. You'll need a 17mm socket to remove the drain plug. You may need to use a breaker bar or impact wrench to break the drain bolt free. I ended up using an impact wrench. Once the bolt has been freed, you can unscrew it by hand the rest of the way. Make sure your oil pan is slightly towards the rear of the drain plug, as the oil will arc towards the back of the car. The oil will come out very quickly and then slow down. You may need to adjust the position of the oil drain pan. Allow the oil to drain for approximately 15 minutes. Install the new drain plug. The one from N75 requires a 14mm socket, and the magnet that they use is very strong. It will try to stick to the oil pan, so it's a little frustrating to get it into the oil pan hole at first. If you are reusing the factory drain plug, make sure you use a new crush washer. After tightening the drain plug hand tight, use a torque wrench and tighten the drain plug to 25.3 to 32.5 foot-pounds. Finally, clean any excess oil around the drain plug and oil pan. I found when removing the oil filter it was on very tight. I used an oil filter removal tool to loosen it. After the oil filter has been removed, make sure the rubber seal comes off with the oil filter. If not, remove the rubber seal from the car. Fill the new oil filter with oil and, using your finger, rub oil around the rubber seal. Clean the oil filter location and install the new oil filter. Hand tighten the oil filter. If you remove the splash shield, you can reinstall it before moving on to the next step. We're finished underneath the car. Before I proceeded further, I checked the old oil, and overall it looked good. I used a magnet to check for any metal shavings, but didn't find anything in the oil. Go to the top of the engine and, using your funnel, begin filling the car with oil. The manual states that the car takes 5.49 quarts of oil. Initially, I put 4.5 quarts in the top of the engine, plus the additional oil in the filter. Before putting any more oil in the car, you'll want to warm the car up and check the oil level. To check the oil level, make sure that the car is on level ground. Start the car and let it warm up to normal operating temperature. Normal operating temperature should be just below 200 degrees. You can check your engine temperature while in N mode or in the N performance screen. After the car has reached normal operating temperature, turn the car off and allow it to sit for 15 minutes. Pull out the dipstick, clean it off and reinsert it. Pull it out again and look at the end of the dipstick. You want to see the oil at the full or F dot on the dipstick. You may have a faint trail of oil above the full dot. You'll be looking for the thick oil to be at the full line. If it's not, you can add a bit more oil. You will have a small amount of old oil in the pan, so keep that in mind. You don't want to just pour 5.5 quarts of oil in the car at first, as you may overfill the oil. I found between the oil filter and engine, I ended up filling the car with approximately 5.24 quarts of oil, which is just a little less than the 5.49 quarts suggested. This means that there was about 1/4 of a quart of old oil remaining in the system. Once the dipstick shows the oil is at its full line, you can move on to the final step, which is resetting the service interval reminder. To reset the service interval reminder, go to the infotainment screen, click Setup, Vehicle, Cluster, Service Interval, Oil Change Reminder, Reset, and finally Yes. This will reset the oil service reminder. You can also reset the service interval as well. This is located on the same screen as the oil reset. Click Reset, then Yes. This will reset the interval to the default 6,000 miles. We decided we wanted to change our oil every 5,000 miles on both our cars. To update the service interval from the default 6,000 to 5,000, within the service interval screen, click on Distance, then type 50, and click OK. This will update the oil change reminder to 5,000 miles. Overall, this is one of the easier cars to perform an oil change on. I hope this video helps you with your next oil change. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for more content.